All aboard! Today we're taking you on a journey through history and exploring the fascinating world of trains and their impact on America's development. Trains had a big impact on how we traveled, shipped goods, and survived back in the day. It is nice to have all this history housed in one location for all ages to enjoy while learning about the past. Welcome to Green Bay, Wisconsin, to the National Railroad Museum. We're going to spend the day here, take a look around, go on some trains, play around on some trains. Let's go see what there is. Established in 1956, this location began as a spot to preserve a steam locomotive and other trains. Through the work of two individuals from the U.S. Senate and U.S. House of Representatives, Congress made this location the only congressionally designated railroad museum in the United States. The 33-acre site along the Fox River houses over 70 pieces of rolling stock, both in indoor train buildings as well as outdoor train sheds. The entire grounds are enclosed by a 1-mile active train loop. We'll take a ride on the train later, but first, let's check out some of the other exhibits. There are 8 permanent exhibits and 1 rotating exhibit through the facility. This year, the rotating exhibit for 2024 was Railroad Tools, Building for Our Future. This highlighted some of the tools that were used in early railroad construction in our country. They also showcased how some new technology is used. You know, you can really never get the perspective of how big a train is until you're right up next to one and just how tall and big they are. Speaking of large trains, my favorite exhibit was the Union Pacific number 4017 Big Boy. Weighing in at 1.1 million pounds and almost half a football field long, these locomotives were designed to haul freight over the mountains between Utah and Wyoming. There were only 25 of these engines built from 1941 to 1944. The 14-wheel tender for the Big Boy could carry 32 tons of coal and 24,000 gallons of water. This train right here is our son's favorite, not because there's Thomas Curtains, but because it's the caboose. Not only that, he also enjoyed checking out the snowplow train, which I will say was pretty impressive, and you can't get a good size for it unless you stand right next to it. I think he liked going up top in the cab and looking out. My mom really liked checking out the Pullman Porter cars because back when she was growing up, she used to take the train from Chicago out to South Dakota, and I think it was fun memories for her to talk about being on the train and the memories she had from growing up. The museum also offered some fun exhibits such as an old mail rail car, which was kind of cool to see how mail was delivered. There also was the Bauer Drumhead Gallery, which was kind of cool to see old train routes such as the Empire Builder, which still runs through Milwaukee. There are plenty more exhibits that I don't have enough time to talk about, so you'll just have to come see for yourself. I do need to mention that there was a Children's Discovery Depot, which had plenty of interactive exhibits for the kids to try their hand at being a train engineer or play with some Brio. Of course, we can't end without talking about the train rides. This was an extra cost, but at only $5 per person, the 25-minute ride was well worth it. You make 2 laps around the museum, and it's a narrated ride where the conductor talks about the rolling stock, highlights of the museum, railroad safety, and the hobo culture.
These hobo jungles, they would make a delicious meal called hobo stew. Now I can tell you, depending on whatever food they had on hand and who your chef.
They also use this as a time to promote some of their upcoming events. They do have some haunted and some great pumpkin trains, but we had heard good things about their Polar Express train up in Christmas, so if that works in your schedule, be sure to check it out. All in all, we thought this made for a fun excursion in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So if you find yourself up there, check out the National Railroad Museum. It could make for a nice family day out. But most importantly, enjoy your adventure.